Have you ever wondered what would happen if a historical figure like Rosa Parks could see the world today? Well, there's this incredible poem that does just that. It imagines Aunt Rosa taking a bus ride right through the 21st century. So let's explore this modern-day revolution. Right out of the gate, the poem hits you with this line. It's an absolute firecracker. It immediately sets you up to think she's going to be angry, right? It makes you wonder what on earth she could see in our world that would make her feel like her sacrifice was just taken for granted. So the whole premise kicks off as a dream. The narrator dreams that their Auntie Rosa comes to visit, and they decide to board the 52 bus together. This bus ride, though, it's not just a trip across town. It's basically a trip through time to see what's changed and what hasn't. Her first reaction is just pure excitement. But the very first thing she really observes is huge. She sees people just casually hopping on the bus, like it's no big deal. For her, this is a symbol of this massive freedom, a kind of entitlement that was completely unthinkable in her day. But, that initial excitement, it pretty quickly turns into some serious culture shock. The world she fought so hard for is finally here, but it looks and feels totally different than she ever imagined. And this kicks off a really fascinating journey of disorientation for her. And here's where we see the first major contrast. It's the weight of her past versus the maybe relative ease of the present. Her act of defiance, her famous protest, came from a deep, internal, soul-crushing pain. But when she looks around today, she sees faces that, well, they just don't carry that same visible burden. And the disorientation just keeps building. For her, paying the bus fare was just a non-negotiable rule of life. Now she's seeing a generation with a completely different attitude, almost questioning the very idea of it. She's starting to realize that the fundamental rules of the world have been completely rewritten. Okay, so this is where her feelings get really interesting and complicated, because she's not just pissed off. She actually sees kids sitting anywhere they want on the bus and calls it a beautiful rush, a real sign of freedom. But then her own core values kick in, and she's really bothered by what she sees as a lack of respect for elders. So her feelings are super nuanced. It's not just simple disappointment. All right, get ready, because this is the turning point of the entire poem. All of that confusion, all those mixed feelings, they're about to crystallize into this one single moment of breathtaking clarity. This is where the whole thing shifts. I mean, can you even imagine her disbelief? This one sight just completely shatters the reality that she knew. It's not just about Black people being allowed to sit in the front. It's seeing a white man casually sitting in the back. The entire social order she fought against has been powerfully, visibly inverted right before her eyes. And then this happens. This is the emotional core of her whole journey. Seeing a Black person not just riding the bus, but driving it in a position of authority and control, it's so overwhelming that her only possible reaction is to fall to her knees right there on the bus floor and just pray. So what was in that prayer? Well, it was pure, overwhelming gratitude. She thanks God for letting her live to see this day. She sees this moment as a clear victory of my Black versus the administration. And in that prayer, she affirms the incredible power she always knew she carried within herself. But the story's not over yet. After they get off the bus and grab a Philly cheesesteak, which is such a great humanizing little detail, they get on another bus. And this time, her role as just a quiet observer is about to change completely. So, the moment she steps onto the 30 bus, she is seen. A group of men sitting right up front, they know exactly who she is. And without a moment's hesitation, they offer her a seat. Not out of pity, but out of pure reverence. And this is the tribute she receives from the generations that came after her. They look her in the eye and acknowledge her sacrifice directly. They connect her single brave act of defiance to their own collective freedom and their ability to heal. It's the most powerful, direct thank you she could ever receive. And all of this brings us to the poem's real core message, that history isn't just about these grand, sweeping events. It's built from intensely personal moments, from the individual choices of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. At one point in the poem, Rosa says, I can see all practicing the herstory of me. Herstory is this idea of telling history from a female point of view. And what she means is that her personal story, her one act on that bus, didn't just contribute to history, it created a whole new narrative that people are now living out every single day. And that is the ultimate answer to that first line of the poem. She's not pissed, she's seeing her story evolve. And then she leaves us with this final, absolutely electrifying statement. It reframes everything we've just seen. After witnessing a century of change, she doesn't see an ending. She sees a beginning. Her revolution isn't some dusty, closed chapter in a history book. It's a living, breathing force that is still unfolding. And that really leaves us with a final, pretty profound thought. If Rosa Parks could see our world today and truly believe that her work is just getting started, what does that mean for us? What part do we all play in a revolution that is still very, very much alive?